Welcome, everybody. Good morning. You're watching the Alberniweather podcast for October 25, 2024. We have another storm coming our way, so let's look into that and see what we can expect. So, first of all, we have our current conditions. It's 4.2 degrees this morning, just a little chilly. Didn't get any frost, at least in my location at Alberniweather this week. I think it got down to 3.5 this morning. I think that was the coolest that we got. Um, Maybe some other places in the valley got to 0, but we didn't. So no frost yet at Alberniweather, but we're getting closer. Winds are calm. Uh, Air quality not great. So it is cooler out. A lot more people are burning wood, so there is some smoke out there, some poor air quality. I'll check that out in a second. And the rest is pretty normal. So let's just go look at the air quality situation. So here's what we have so far. Whoa, sorry about that. Sometimes the zoom on this thing can be a little crazy. There we go. That's better. So it actually doesn't look too bad. I'm gonna refresh this just to see, because that seems like the same as it was this morning. Yeah, it's identical. Let me see if it's gonna come up. No, yeah, it's still the same. So there you go. So it's not too bad. It looks a little worse on the purple air monitor. I mean, it's still good green here, but I would have expected it to be a little higher, but there you go. So it's not too bad, still under 10. So that's good. I can see my station here is 4.5 1 hour average micrograms per cubic meter. So yeah, that's not too bad. It's okay. Per cubic millimeter, -3. Um, Looks like out Beaver Creek here, Stamp. There's some wood smoke out there, but the town looks pretty good. So that's our air quality picture right now. Not too shabby. We'll look at the satellite picture. So we do have a wind event coming for tonight, starting this evening. That should be this low pressure here, just off the coast of Oregon and California right now, Northern California, and it should track just up into Vancouver Island. I'll show you the forecast here in a second so you can see that movement. But that's going to be the source of our wind for tonight. We will get a little bit of rain, but it won't be the main event. The main event will be the potential for wind. So just to see what kind of moisture we might have in the area. Looks pretty light right now, just mostly fog around the area right now, and a little bit of moisture coming in off of the Pacific, but nothing serious. So we're waiting for those winds to come up. There are wind warnings issued for East Vancouver Island from Nanaimo up to Cowichan, or sorry, Courtney, and then down in Victoria and the Gulf Islands, and in south areas of Vancouver. So those are all wind warnings, I believe. That's a wind warning, and that's a wind warning. So those are all wind warnings. There are special weather statements here as well. We can bring those up. That's for the east coast of the island as well. Again, just noting those strong winds. So strong southeast winds of near 60 gusting to 80 kilometers per hour will develop near midnight. Now, there are no there are no warnings up for inland Vancouver Island or Port Alberni, but because it is a southeasterly direction, that is usually the one that gives us the more likelihood for strong winds. So while we might not get up to those, 60 to 80 kilometer an hour winds, I would expect that we'll get up into the 30, 40 kilometer an hour, maybe higher wind range. So that will be a feature tonight in the Port Alberni area as well, and that is in our forecast from Environment Canada as well. 40 kilometers, gusting to 60 after midnight, and that's going to be coming out of the south. Um, it says wind south 40 to 60, diminishing to 20, gusting to 40 near noon on Saturday. So expect those winds to start tonight, probably from the southeast, and then switching to south, and we should have those through the day tomorrow. Okay, so let's look at the forecast. So the actual picture here as far as what to expect. So let's start with the wind gusts. Here we go. So we can see, there we go. So there's our low pressure center right here. Not really well defined, but it is there. And that's this blue area here is 45 knots. I'll just bring up a converter so you can see what that is. 45 knots to kph. There we go. So there's the conversion if you'd like it. So 45 knots is 80 kilometers an hour. So you can see that coming up on the west coast of the island there. Let me just zoom in so we can see a little better around the island. So again, the blue is 40 knots. The darker blue is 50 knots, and then it's lighter as you go in there. You can see it's starting to pick up. So this is 11 o'clock tonight, Friday night. So that's just when it's going to get started. So it's going to be quite late before we start to see some wind, particularly on the island and on the east coast. So by 2 a.m. Saturday morning, so overnight tonight, you can see those high winds are now in the Strait of Georgia, Salish Sea, 40 knots, so 80 kilometers an hour. So that's that warning criteria. Coming in behind, so you can see it's a little harder to see, but you can see this wind vane here. That's looking like southeast or east. And then on the back side of this front, you're looking at west or southwest. So this is southwest, that's west. So it's moving quite quickly as it goes across the island. So that's a pretty quick change. So 2 a.m. And then it diminishes quite quickly. So it might be, this is a little different, honestly, than the Environment Canada forecast. They're expecting, 40 kilometer an hour winds through the day on Saturday. This University of Washington forecast says that by 8 o'clock, winds have essentially calmed down. So there's a little bit of difference there. Now we do see another pulse of wind come through by Saturday afternoon. Not as strong as the first one. So you can see this band of southerly winds. coming down the island, and that comes into the area of the Strait of Georgia and down along Victoria by Saturday night, and that's what is that? That's 25 knots, which is, there you go, 40 to 50 kilometers an hour, right? So not as strong. And yeah, we don't see much in the way of other wind after that. This is really interesting. So on Monday morning, we can see a pretty strong low just kind of slide by. So really interesting pattern here. Usually it's going in the opposite direction. Usually it goes up, comes up or across into Washington State and then sort of up onto the island towards the north. This one is coming the other direction. So Sunday evening, the low is up here, just off the tip of North Vancouver Island, and then it just sort of slides right on by down towards Washington State. So that's a little weird, and you can see really strong northwesterly winds following that storm. So really interesting there. There's some super strong. I mean, those are yeah, that's 40, 50 knot northerly winds on the far side of that low. That's yeah, that's something. I don't know what's going on there. That would be something like in the wintertime. That might produce, straight effect snow maybe. But not, yeah, that's a funny storm. So we'll see if that actually happens. But getting back to Friday, so I'll just back it up here. This is Friday afternoon. You can see those southeasterly winds picking up um, as the low approaches. Really clear southeasterlies here. Look at these, just straight up southeasterlies. 5 o'clock, and then getting into Friday night, you see that storm starting to come on shore. So there's the 40 knot winds, 50 knots up north of Tofino on the west coast. And on the headlands, looks like 60 knots probably for Solander Island, but 40 knots down here, and then it gets over onto the east side of the island overnight. So um, that's when you're probably likely to see any power outages and stuff is going to be late tonight. You might want to make your house nice and warm, and then if you if you lose power, it'll hopefully keep you until Saturday. I don't see this as a huge generator of or a disruptor of power, but it certainly could. There's lots of leaves on the trees still. I would expect this will take care of most of the trees that still have leaves on them. But yeah, there's going to be maybe a little bit of power outages tomorrow, Saturday morning. So again, 5 a.m. Still pretty windy on the east coast of the island. On the west coast, it's switched over to southwesterlies, and then by late Saturday morning, things have calmed down quite a bit on the west coast and on the east coast. So a little different than what Environment Canada says, but uh, not that different. And then Sunday we have this funny uh, weird storm that goes by. So we'll see how that goes. So let's look now at rain. So we'll do the same thing here. So here's our rain picture. Just gonna close this guy. So again, Friday night, you can see that As the storm comes onto the island, there's those strong southeasterly winds, 40 knot winds or so. It will start to rain on the west coast as well, so a proper sou'easter. And then overnight, there's our rain will come in with the wind as it goes, but short-lived. So by morning, by sunrise, it should be stopped raining by then, and the wind should die down by Saturday, late Saturday morning. Another bout of rain comes in on Saturday afternoon. So this will come in with a little bit of that wind. Not as strong as the first pulse, I don't think, but this is a pretty concentrated band of rain. So we might actually get more rain Saturday afternoon than we do overnight tonight. This will linger across the whole island from about Saturday afternoon into Saturday night, and then we have some pretty strong sort of lingering showers through Sunday. So I would expect most of Saturday and Sunday to be rainy after about noon on Saturday. So um, if you need to do stuff outside, then you're probably going to want to do it Saturday morning in the wind, or maybe in that little break. Should be a little break between what 9 o'clock and 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Um, and But after that, yeah, it looks like rain for most of it. So just backing up, there's Friday night coming onto the island with the wind tonight late. Overnight, good dump of rain, but short-lived. Ends Saturday morning, 5 a.m., and just a few little showers here and there Saturday morning. And then, but Saturday, by Saturday afternoon, afternoon, literally afternoon, we should get back into to rain in Port Alberni, and then that is going to spread across the island through Saturday night. Strong in the evening on Saturday, again going up and spreading across the island overnight Saturday into Sunday, and then Sunday morning looks like it's focused on Cowichan Lake, and then Sunday, the main body of the rain will push off to the east, but we have some significant sort of scattered bands of showers here through Sunday. So I don't expect it to dry out very much Sunday. It looks quite wet all over the island on Sunday. So right into Sunday evening, Sunday night, and then until that low starts to sweep down the island early Monday morning, then that will signal drying out. So you can see those strong, look at that strong northwesterly winds, northeasterly winds. No, northwesterly winds. Um, in the back of that low, just clearing everything out. So by Monday, looks like Monday noon. Yeah, looks like Monday noon we should clear out, and that's probably going to be pretty chilly if we have a big northerly wind. That's probably going to be pretty chilly. So let's go look at the temperatures, what we can expect. I'd like to do something better than that. Let's do this one. Hmm, sorry. I don't like the temperature maps on here because there we go. Mostly because they're in Fahrenheit, but that's okay. So there's our temperatures. Um, so getting up to 10, 12 degrees today. And then just going to look to see you know, it's gonna be 8, 9, 10 degrees through the rain events. Might get down to, what is this? Oh yeah, see, it hardly even gets down at all overnight. So it stays pretty constant. That southerly wind always keeps us at a pretty constant temperature. So 8, 9, 10 degrees, probably somewhere around there. But I just wanted to see as that low comes down, there's Sunday morning, and as the northerly winds pick up, there we go. So there's that low here. And here's the northerly winds up here at the top of the island. Just want to see if that's going to pull down some cold air here. A little bit, not really. The greens are, yeah. Oh, the temperature scale has switched. Yeah, so the greens are, 40 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, 5 Celsius or so. Yeah, so not doesn't cool us off too much. If we look a little longer out, let's see what it says. Do, 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 do. So again, there's the push on Saturday night or a Friday night, and then looking for that low. There's the low coming down the island here. And yeah, so you can see it getting cooler in the interior, but not so much on the island. Maybe Tuesday looks like it gets quite a little chillier, but not too bad. Yeah, no real threats of frost, or at least deep frost. That looks like the coldest there. What is that? 8 o'clock on next Thursday, so Halloween. So Halloween it might be chilly. We'll see. Yeah. Yeah, looks like Halloween, November 1st. Looks like it'll be chilly. Look, the interior is, what is that? Yeah, that's getting down into the 8 Fahrenheit range. So that's, yeah, that's cold. But we'll see what that means for us. This is a pretty low resolution model, so so it's hard to say what we'll get in the valley. Yeah, so that looks like below freezing. So it might maybe a frost on Halloween or November 1st. There you go. So thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe to the channel if you like this. Share it with your friends. You can share it on Facebook, Twitter, all the socials you would like. And we'll see you again here soon. Okay, see you later. Alberniweather.ca.